All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. Hope you're all doing well today. It is Tuesday, December 1st, and it's like 60 something degrees here in Connecticut. It is freakishly warm outside. Hope you're all doing well today. What are we talking about today? Well, December 1st. A couple of birthdays out there. Chris, Sean, happy birthday, first and foremost. We haven't done any music history lately, right? We haven't talked about that. We'll run down that a little bit quickly here. On this date in 1709, Franz Xavier Richter is born. Oh, Franz, man. That guy. So funny. Anyway, 1967, Axis Bold as Love from Jimi Hendrix Experience is released. 1968, Janis Joplin plays her last concert with Big Brother and the Holding Company. If you really want to be depressed, watch the Janis Joplin documentary on Netflix. Man, that's one of the saddest stories in rock and roll that I've ever heard. She didn't have any female friends. That was what our big takeaway was, but certainly a tragic story. All the way up to 1987, Prince is going to release the Black album. It's a very anticipated album, and 1 week before it comes out, he pulls the plug. Some great material on there. It wouldn't come out for another, 10 years or more, maybe 15. Fast forward again to 1997, Kenny G, yep, that's what I'm talking about. Kenny G set the world record for longest saxophone note at 45 minutes 47 seconds. That was pretty impressive. On a side note, only 17 people were killed and 28 people hospitalized. Anyway, so all right, what are we talking about today? This is a tough topic today. I got to admit, when I thought about this along the way, I was like, am I going to cover it? Am I not going to cover it? But it's a really important musical part of our music history, right? So let's talk about that part of it as well. But on this date, in 1982, Michael Jackson releases Thriller. Although I did get two different dates. I got yesterday's date and I got today's date, but right around this time. 1982, he's reunited with Quincy Jones. That epic album, something like 66 million copies. This was a huge record. I don't even have to tell the story. Everyone knows the story of this album, right? 7 singles out of 9 songs. Can you name the 2 songs that weren't singles on this record? Anyway, we'll name those in a minute, but obviously a huge record for a lot of different reasons. I don't mind listening to his music, but then sometimes I say to myself, it's weird listening to his music because of everything, his legacy. How does that mix in with listening to music? Do you guys still listen to his music? Do you pause yourself when you go to listen to his music? Do you just forget everything and listen to it? And then I got started thinking about other people in music or famous people that have had things in their lives that have turned things upside down. Recently, we could talk about Ryan Adams. We were huge Ryan Adams fans, absolutely huge fans. And then 7 women come out and accuse him of various things, and I don't think I've listened to his record since then. And so that's interesting, right? Will I listen to his music again? I don't know. But then there's other people, like maybe it's generational. Think about Jerry Lee Lewis, Great Balls of Fire, Yeah, he was huge. He was absolutely huge singer. Then he went and married his 13-year-old cousin. He married his 13-year-old third cousin. Not only that, it was his 3rd marriage, and it was his 2nd marriage while he was already married. So there was a lot of stuff there. Now, they were married for 13 years. They had children. But when he went to go over to England to tour right after marrying his cousin, the Brits wanted nothing to do with it. They were basically shaming him, and they basically shamed him out of the country just because they didn't want anything to do with him. And he came back, and just a huge backlash for that as well. And it pretty much ruined his career until he made a big comeback in country music. His nickname is The Killer, and it has nothing to do with anything nefarious. It was just that he used to say, before he was a star, he would say, "See you later, killer," or "Hey, killer." It was just something he said. So, but Jerry Lee Lewis, when I hear that song, I don't think about how he married his 13-year-old cousin. But I guess I'd have to ask someone who was around then and be like, was that a big deal? Did that get in the way of you listening to his music? So I'd like to hear from you on that one. What about Bill Cosby? We could talk about Bill Cosby, not a singer, but I never watched one single Cosby show, true story. But if you go back to his comedy of the 1960s, he was huge, first of all, and he was very funny. I mean, I grew up listening to those records as a kid. And some of the great stories, the Chicken Heart and Buck Buck and Noah, all these ones I just grew up listening to, thinking it was hysterical. But I tried to listen to it in the last couple of weeks, and it's just a little bit of a distraction. So, what about other reasons, we talk about like Vince Neil. Vince Neil, he was in a drunk driving accident, killed the Hanoi Rocks drummer. His name was Razzle. He served 20 days in jail, but it was really not much. It was a slap on the wrist. But we moved forward from that. Obviously an accident, not something he had planned. And then I thought about Marv Albert, the sportscaster. I mean, he was at the top of the sportscasting world, literally the top of the world in sportscasting, and then he turns out he had a penchant for cross-dressing and biting people. So he was let go, and he made a comeback. He's back on TV and all that stuff, and maybe a lot of people don't even remember that story. So those are just examples of things like, does it get in the way? Can people come back from stuff? All that stuff. So we're back to Thriller. Again, a great record. You got Wanna Be Starting Something, The Girl Is Mine, Beat It, Human Nature, Thriller, Billie Jean, PYT, and then the two non-singles, The Lady of My Life and Baby Be Mine. All these great songs. I think the strongest song on this whole record is probably PYT. It was a single, it went to number 10. I don't know why there's not an official music video for it. That's the weirdest thing. Unless I'm missing something, I'm pretty sure there's no official music video for PYT. And that is an awesome song. If I'm going to do Song of the Day, however, I think I'm just going to go back again to where it all started for everybody. It has to be Beat It, because that was huge on MTV. There were really no black singers on MTV at that time. And this was just a monster record with Eddie Van Halen on guitar. And Eddie Van Halen told a story about how when they were recording it, he was a little intimidated about making changes, and Michael left the room and he started playing around and did make some changes, and Michael came back in and he said, hey, and he was kind of nervous saying, hey, I kind of made some changes on the record, what do you think? And Michael was like, yeah, I like that. And he was like, oh, cool, all right. So we're gonna do Beat It as Song of the Day from Thriller. Tell me your thoughts. Does it get in the way for you? Is it kind of like a wet blanket on the whole idea of his music, or do you just skip over it? I don't know, it's a tough one. So that's your Song of the Day. It's Tuesday, it's December 1st. Enjoy it, and again, we got a great week coming up. Stay with me, and as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.